What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of True Sports with MK. I'm your host, yours truly, MK, and we are back with another episode. How are you guys feeling after watching the NBA draft last night? It was very exciting. We saw a lot of trades that we did assume and some that we didn't see. That was a little shocker. But before we get into the NBA draft, I am going to talk about that a little bit down the line of this episode. But I did want to start off this episode talking about the NBA trades that has been going on with a few of our favorite superstar players. Now, I'm going to start off with the Bradley Beal trade over to the Phoenix Suns. Now, that was a shocker. I felt like after Bradley Beal got that Supermax contract the beginning of the last season, I thought he was going to stay with the Wizards, get the bag, and do what he got to do. You know, get the points, make a couple All-Star games, and all that good stuff. I thought that's what he was going to do when he got that contract. Apparently, he got other players, and he actually does want to go ahead and get a ring and want to be able to be one of those top-notch NBA players in the league and one day be a Hall of Famer. So I kind of understand what he did there. Like, give me the money. Yeah, give me that money, but I'm going to back out and get traded on over here. You feel me? So I kind of felt like it was a good move for him. But going to the Phoenix Suns where they already have Kevin Durant as well as Devin Booker, who are known shooters. Those are top-notch shooters who kind of needs the ball a lot. And you add Bradley Beal in the mix, who also was a top-notch shooter, playmaker, who needs the ball a lot as well. I felt like the Phoenix Suns, they need more defense. That's why they lost against the Denver Nuggets. They didn't have that defense ability to be able to slow them down and stop them. They didn't have that. All they had was scores and a little bit of defense here and there because they got rid of Jay Crowder, who was one of their best defensive players I feel like that they had on their team, for Kevin Durant. So I feel like they should have been looking out for someone for defense and not so much offense. But getting Bradley Beal makes them a big three-man team as far as having Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, as well as Kevin Durant. And you can't forget about DeAndre Ayton. I know he sometimes don't give that or that big center or have that big talk like he did when he first got drafted, but he is a great player and a great contender, as well as a good big to have on a team when you have those elite shooters where he could be able to get rebounds, pick the ball back up. So it's always good to have a big like him. So I feel like if this trade does go down and Bradley Beal is going to the Phoenix Suns, they're gonna be a team favorite just because they have heavy superstar players on their team who has a great fan base, who all plays phenomenal basketball. They're all averaging over 20 points per game as of last season. So I feel like they can do wonders together. I don't know how the chemistry may work out off the bat, but I'm hoping wonders for that team because they need it. They are a great contender team, but they keep falling short every time they make it into the playoffs and get past that first round. So we're going to see how this works out going into the rest of the offseason as well as the beginning of the new season. And then we found out Sunday that the Phoenix Suns traded Chris Paul over to the Wizards, which he soon later on was then traded over to the Golden State Warriors. Now that one right there, that trade was like, whoa, CP3, Steph Curry, Clay. That was like, okay, I see how y'all playing and I see how y'all want to do it, but I feel like adding Chris Paul to the mix, of course he's going to come off the bench. They already have their point guards. No need to have Chris Paul starting. This past season, he averaged about 13.9 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 8.9 assists. And he averaged about 44% from the field. And if you look at those assists, that's what stands out the most with Chris Paul. His IQ and his handles and his way to be able to find his teammates wide open for them to get great shots. That's one thing that stands out for Chris Paul and makes him different from the other point guards. He's always the top 10 or at least top 5 in assists almost every season. He's a beast, as well as you gotta look at his steals now. Chris Paul will rip you up and get you a couple turnovers on your belt, under your belt. You always gotta look out for that with Chris Paul. Now, one thing that I'm kind of scared of with this matchup is who's gonna be their player off the bench to be able to score. Golden State shipped Jordan Poole over to Washington Wizards. which I felt like was kind of dirty. Like, dang, y'all, because y'all shipped Jordan Poole off like, all right, we don't want you no more. And I told y'all, if you go back a couple episodes when they were playing against, who were they playing against? I think they was playing against LA. I told you guys, Jordan Poole has been playing horrible in that playoffs. Throughout the whole playoffs, he hasn't been coming through for him, being able to make clutch shots or none through that series. So I said that's something that the GM and the whole front office is going to look at with Jordan Poole. And then you guys can't forget the incident at the beginning of last season where him and Draymond Green got into that little scuffle at practice. I felt like they knew right then and there one of these two guys gonna have to go off the team by at the end of the season during off season. They knew that, and it looks like they stuck behind Draymond Green and said, "Jordan Poole, go ahead on, get out of here." And I feel like Jordan Poole was their scorer off the bench. Every time they needed that help or needed fresh legs to come in and get some buckets while Steph or even Clay is on the bench, Jordan Poole was that guy. He was like the third step brother, splash brother, or whatever. You feel me? I feel like that is what Jordan Poole brought to the Golden State Warriors. And of course, he was not looking good in the playoffs, but if you look at his stats throughout the whole season, he was averaging over 21 points per game, as well as having about 4.5 assists and averaging 43% from the field goal line during last season. So you got to look at, he did bring a lot to the team during the season when Steph was out, and he brought a lot to the team, but I feel like it was dirty of them to ship him over to Washington because they really don't got nobody there like that. I believe Kuzma is still there, but there's nobody there that I feel like can be able to make the Washington Wizards a playoff contender team. They may win a couple games, but I don't feel like they could be that contender team. But switching over a little bit more, we got the Boston Celtics, we got the Memphis Grizzlies, as well as we got the Washington Wizards in a 3-deal trade that blew my mind. You got Boston Celtics shipping out Marcus Smart over to the Memphis Grizzlies and shipping Tyus Young over to Washington Wizards, then shipping Kristaps Porzingis over to the Boston Celtics, where I feel like that is going to be good for the Boston Celtics after seeing the way they played against the Miami Heat in the playoffs. I feel like adding a 3-point shooter as far as him who can shoot the 3, as well as being a tall, big power forward center who can get a lot of rebounds and play great defense, he's a great pickup for the Boston Celtics. Adding that great length, shooting ability, everything. It's a good move, but I feel bad for my boy Marcus Smart. Like I thought he would be a Celtics ride or die down with them until he retired type of guy. But it looks like they had other plans for Marcus Smart, and he's going over to the Memphis Grizzlies, which I honestly feel like can help the Memphis Grizzlies because with losing Dylan Brooks, he had a little good defense. He played that aggressive defense, and I feel like Marcus Smart is a 2-time defensive player. He's going to bring that hunger defense and bring that team together. He has a big leadership chip on his shoulder where he brings that guidance and that helping him like, hey, this is what we could do, and bring that talk, that leadership. And I feel like with Ja Morant having that 25-game suspension, like I talked about in my last episode, it could possibly affect the team because Marcus Smart has to get that chemistry with Ja Morant. Ja Morant is their star player and their star point guard. So in order to be able to have an elite, great team for playoffs, they have to have that chemistry. And with him missing preseason, all team activities, he don't have that time to be able to get the access. And 25 games, that's a lot from the start of the season to then. That's December. So you got almost all of I believe October, November, and then December. That's a lot. That's so I hope that they can be able to still get that chemistry with Marcus Smart. But you see Desmond Bane, he kind of seemed like he's excited. He tweeted 2-time defensive player. Yes, y'all getting that. So y'all better do something with it. Because your last season, y'all had all this, but y'all didn't put nothing in there. Y'all lost against the Lakers. So hopefully, Marcus Smart can bring that hunger and that defense that the team needs. And then Tyus Jones going over to Washington Wizards. Now, having Tyus Jones, Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma, and whoever other 2 people they have as a starting 5, that can be an elite young team, I feel like. made everyone in the NBA league look at him like, okay, he has potential. He has the potential to be a great point guard for the Washington Wizards. Because while John Morant had all those issues as well as injuries throughout last season, Tyus Jones came up and stepped up and was that point guard that got them where they needed to be. So I feel like them shipping him out over to the Washington Wizards, it made them have a gap as far as a point guard, I feel like. Because who's going to step up and be that point guard while John Morant is out missing these 25 games? Tyus Jones was that guy, but now he's over to the Washington Wizards, where I feel like he can do wonders with that team. They just got to make sure they get a good backcourt as well as the bench players. Like, I can't think off the top of my head who the Washington Wizards have, but with the people they're getting now, they have potential to be a great team and a great young upcoming team, but I don't feel like they're going to be that playoff caliber team right off the bat and be able to make it far unless they make some more changes during this off season. That's my viewpoint on that. You guys comment down below. Let me know what y'all feel about that. And I'm going to do a part 2 of this episode because we're going to talk about the NBA draft that happened. It's going to be a quick little spiel because, to me, the NBA draft is not the same. These last couple of drafts you had these past 5 seasons, these young cats came into the league and has not done anything. The last 5 draft picks we have, I haven't heard anybody say their names yet. The ones who got drafted top 5 haven't really shown nothing like that. So this new young generation players can come into the league and make a stamp on it and make their name be known. You feel me? So we're going to talk about that in a part 2 of this episode. So you know what I need you guys to do. I need you guys to go ahead and hit that bell. Pause the episode. Hit that bell. Hit like. Hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed so you can get post notifications whenever I post on YouTube for Choose Sports with MK or whenever I just post. You could just like, comment, anything. Tell me how your day going. Tell me how you feel about the podcast. What improvements you want me to do for the podcast. Just let me know. Talk to me and I'm going to talk back and I'm going to give you what you want. You feel me? But I'm your host, yours truly, MK. And I will see you guys in the next episode where we're going to talk about part 2 of the NBA draft. I'm your girl and I'll catch y'all next time.